Hi friends, this is Kaushik Ranchod, immigration attorney representing clients throughout the 50 states. Welcome to our weekly immigration show. Today, we're going to be doing a case study on hardship and specifically to the I-601 waiver. So you'll want to stay tuned to see what worked in this specific situation. This is where we have a client who is outside of the United States, but the same principles can be applied to I-601A. And you'll want to stay tuned to see what worked. And if you haven't already, just smash that like button. All right, let's talk about the I-601A waiver. First of all, you need to make sure that you qualify for I-601A waiver. How do you qualify? Well, you need to have a U.S. citizen spouse or a lawful permanent resident spouse, or a U.S. citizen parent or a lawful permanent resident parent. That allows you to apply for the I-601A waiver. The first step is filing the I-130 petition. Once the I-130 is approved, then you can go on and pay the NVC fee bills, and then you can file for the I-601A waiver. So the I-601 or the I-601A waiver. So for I-601A waiver, you would go ahead and file the I-601A. But what I'm talking about is the I-601. So this process is a little bit different than the I-601A because in this case study, this person was outside of the United States. So once the I-130 is approved, then it goes to the National Visa Center process. And you go ahead with the National Visa Center processing, then go to the U.S. Embassy. After the interview and the case is denied, then you file the I-601 versus with the I-601A waiver. You file the waiver, you do National Visa Center processing, then you have the final interview. And so there used to only be, when I first started practicing over 20 years ago, the I-601 was the only type of waiver you could file, and it was a risky proposition because you had to leave the United States in order to be able to file for the waiver, and you wouldn't know if the waiver was going to get approved. When President Obama came into office, the I-601A waiver was brought into effect, and that really changed things because it allowed you to apply for the I-601A in the United States. Now, this case study is based off of I-601 waiver. So in this case, National Visa Center processing, the embassy interview, the case gets denied, and then that's when you file for the waiver to overcome the 10-year bar. Let's talk about how this client was able to qualify. In 2004, our client entered the United States, got married to a U.S. citizen, and had 2 U.S. citizen children. Now what happened is he had a sick relative in Mexico, so had to leave the United States in 2010. Then once he left, he became subject to the 10-year bar. That is why we had to file for I-601 waiver in this situation, because he left the United States. And this happens to a lot of our clients. End up having sick relatives and they want to leave, and it's such a difficult position to be in. And we're so happy to be able to help people reunite their families as soon as possible because our core purpose is unification. So we'll talk about how this family was able to get unified. In this situation, what we did, the client went ahead and went through the immigrant visa process. Their case was denied. So then they hired us for the I-601. The arguments that we were able to make was based off of extreme hardship because the spouse had a history of cancer. So there was medical hardship in this situation. We also were able to argue financial hardship. So in this situation, they were living off of payday loans, and there was no way that they'd be able to support 2 households. So we were able to make that argument as well. Not only that, you could imagine that all of this separation was taking a mental health toll on the U.S. citizen wife. So there was mental health hardship that was coming into effect because of the strain, the financial hardship, the health issues. Well, this obviously was creating a strain mentally on her that was taking a toll day in and day out, going through all of these issues. Another issue was that the U.S. citizen wife also had children from a prior relationship, and she couldn't leave to go to Mexico even if she wanted to because she had those children to take care of. It was not possible for her to just take those children because it would have been a violation of the law. So of course we made that argument as well, and often we see this happen in a few of our cases where there's children from the prior relationship and that spouse from the prior relationship doesn't want to be, of course, separated from their child. So this is a very good argument that we were able to make. Finally, then the client was able to enter lawfully and become a permanent resident. So this was very exciting for us. And although we don't like to take cases that are in the middle of the process, we still are able to. Just it depends upon the situation if the case wasn't harmed previously. So in this case, we were able to get it approved even though we just started the process with the I-601 waiver. We were very grateful to be able to help our client get a green card. So here you'll see that there was a variety of hardships used. There was mental health hardship, there was financial hardship, and there was health hardship. Combining all of those factors was able to build an extreme hardship case. My advice to you is to start this process as early as possible, because currently at the time that I'm shooting this video, it is taking a long time. The process time is taking anywhere for the entire process. We're seeing, if everything went really well, 2.5 years, which is really more of an exception. And also depends what service center your waiver goes to, but we're seeing cases also take up towards the 5-year range, depending upon what service center it's processed at. A lot of this happened with the slowdown with COVID. We're hoping things are gonna speed up. But of course, the sooner that you file, the sooner you can get this process going so you can get a green card. I hope this video has served you. I want to thank you for tuning in, and you are amazing because you're bettering yourself, and because you're bettering yourself, you're bettering your family, and by bettering your family, you're bettering our country. Thank you. Bye for now.